Golf Podcast, presented by Golficity, where we bring you the tips, instruction, and support you need to get the most out of your golf game. And now your hosts, Frank and Mike.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Golf Podcast. This episode, Mike and I are going to talk about our 9-hole 3-club challenge we took a couple weeks ago. It was awesome. We learned a ton. We're going to challenge you guys to do the same. And also be sure to watch the full video of the day on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/Golficity. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel because we're going to be rolling out a lot more video content to go along with these podcast episodes. So like I said, we had the challenge. We were out there. We're going to decompress it here, but we've got the whole thing on tape. You get to see some of the fun antics we did out there. It was really cool. We got to visit and play an old course back from my high school golf days, brought back lots of great memories. And like I said, we really challenged ourselves. We played entire 9 holes using only 3 clubs from our bag. So we're going to dissect that. We're going to talk about what we learned in a few minutes. I also want to recap the Travelers. And Mike, I want to get your take on that. We just played that course 3 weeks ago. Huge crowds, awesome finish. That was amazing. And lastly, we have an exciting announcement. This is really, really cool. We're going to be hosting the Golficity Virtual Open. That's going to be kicking off on July 15th. I can't wait to tell you guys all about that. But first, Mike, did we have another giveaway this week?
Yes, we did, Frank. We just announced our week 4 prize winner, courtesy of our sponsors, Atlas Premier. You know, we're going to be running this every week until the end of August. So for those of you who are new to the show, we've been talking about Atlas Premier for the last month, and every person that gets their hands on this golf apparel, you know, has nothing but amazing things to say about the quality and the design, and myself included. You know, not to sound like a broken record, but all you need to do is qualify for, in order to qualify for this giveaway, is just join the free Facebook group. I mean, these guys have been so great to our listeners by offering amazing prize packs valued up to $160. Which include things like their polo shirts, athletic t-shirts, golf hats, ball markers. Just search the Golf Podcast under groups on Facebook and boom, you're in and it's free.
That's right, Mike. And they're giving away one of those prize packs to someone in that group every week for 10 weeks. It's amazing. And not only do these Atlas Premier shirts look and feel great on the course, I love that they're helping me shake up my style a little bit out there. Mike, how funny was it the other day? We're teeing off and the older guys are calling us Ricky Fowler in our Atlas gear. Anyway, you name it. The pants, the shirts, the hats, the tees. Atlas Premier will make you stand out not only on the course, but everywhere else. Their branding is on point and every detail, the quality of their gear is something you have to see to believe. I think you'll agree, Mike, that it's time we all need to step up our golf apparel game this summer with Atlas Premier. So show our friends at Atlas Premier some love and follow them on Instagram and Twitter at Atlas_Premier and check them out at atlaspremier.com. And now even sweeten the deal even further. Like I said, these guys are great. They just keep giving back. They've upped their exclusive discount for our listeners to an amazing 25% off your order. You go to their website, atlaspremier.com, use coupon code GOLFPODCAST, one word at checkout. You're going to get 25% off. That's atlaspremier.com for more.
All right. So, Frank, before we talk 3-club challenge, I want to talk about these guys at RevEnt Optics. You know, we love our show sponsors, and they are sponsoring tonight's show. Really cool stuff. I mean, if you're tired of scratched sunglass lenses, I mean, I'm a victim of this, Frank. I just leave my lenses upside down, scratch them all the time. So it's tough to hit the golf ball with scratches in your way, right? There's one excuse we can use, but get this. Instead of buying new sunglasses, you can now simply replace the lenses fast and at a great cost.
Yeah, Mike, and I'm the type of guy, I'll take my sunglasses off, I'll throw them in the cart. You know, they end up rattling around, they get scratched up. And yeah, lenses can get really expensive, especially for these Ray-Bans that I wear every day. What I love about RevEnt Optics is that they offer high quality replacement lenses for any brand, and it starts at just $24. Right on their website, you can choose from a variety of tints and colors, including golf performance lenses that are engineered to enhance your vision on the course. So join over 500,000 customers and get 20% off your first order with coupon code GOLF at reventoptics.com/golf. That's REVANT optics.com/golf. So Mike, okay. First things first, there's so much to talk about. I've been psyched for this episode for quite some time, but let's first do, what just wrapped up a day or two ago as of this recording, the Travelers.
Right.
What a finish. And we knew a couple people, because it's local here. We didn't get a chance to get out there, but we knew a couple people who were on 18 when it all went down. Spieth, unbelievable.
Yeah, first of all, Spieth loves those epic finishes. I think he won his first event, right? The John Deere from a hole out from the bunker.
That's
or at
right.
least that's what sent him to the sudden death, I believe. I'm not sure if he won it or if that's what sent him there. But listen, awesome event. I love seeing that course packed with fans because you and I played it 3 weeks before. We had the grandstand set up, obviously no fans, but it was so cool to see, I remember you called me at one point and Boo Weekly was on the 14th hole in the right rough. And it's exactly where you and I hit our tee shots.
Yep.
And that is the hole where we both stuck the green. We were both 10 feet from the pin. You made birdie, I made par. So it was cool to relive that. And with the Spieth shot, I holed out on 18, remember, for birdie?
Yes.
But there was no dramatics.
No.
You guys were all the way down the fairway. I was the only one who really saw it.
Wait, there was a couple guys who were setting up the grandstand. Yes. They saw it.
They were clapping for me.
You got a couple claps in.
Yeah, but I wasn't like chest bumping a Michael Greller moment, like Spieth. I mean, how amazing is that? I mean, what a great finish.
That was awesome. And what I was like, I've been reliving this over in my head. Spieth, the funny part about this is on that hole, the playoff hole, he looked like us for a second. I mean, this is how funny golf can be, right? Dead push your drive. It hits the tree, drops straight down. So he's right. So now he's definitely looking like how we play this game. Hits the tree, drops straight down. He's got 225 left on a par 4 because the ball went nowhere. Then he hits his iron, leaves it short in a greenside bunker. So far, this is basically the story of our lives. Like that's the way we would play this hole. But that's where it all switches gears. Holes that thing out. I'm thinking, I'm in that bunker. I'd be really happy to up and down it from there. I'm probably 3 shots,
Right.
Guy nails it. That was awesome. And I mean, yeah, it was a really great thing. And talking to anybody who was there, it was exactly the sentiment that we heard when we were up there, when we were talking to the guys and they were saying how it's built for stadium golf. And this is like, it's great for for crowds, huge crowds. I mean, the turnout was awesome. This week's tournament has got a lot to live up to follow that up. That's for sure. Yeah,
big time. I'm really happy for our friend Dave, the GM up there, who let us come play. I mean, I wanted him to get big crowds. I was excited for those guys because they did a really great job putting that place together. You and I spoke about this briefly, but that 10th hole, the tree hole in the middle, that was the only thing in my mind on that tee box. But sure enough, like you said, these guys were flying it right over that thing. No, I was worried about getting around it.
Yeah.
And these guys were flying over it from probably 20 or 30 yards back on the tips.
Right. We're thinking, okay, we got to shoot right through this hole and just go between these trees here. And it was like it wasn't even there for them. It was just not even a thought. It's just like, okay, well, that tree's there, but fine. They just go over it. And we're just like, come on.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing.
But you look at the power of these guys, and it's ridiculous. Rory Mcilroy what was it? It was a par 4. I think it was playing 466 that day. Maybe he was playing 477. It was one of those numbers. Hits his driver, and he's 87 yards out for his second shot.
It's incredible.
Come on. It's just, you can't make these courses too long for these guys. But look, the great equalizer, drive for show, putt for dough. I mean, that's what it all comes down to. Rory couldn't putt. He's struggling, as we talked about you saw there's a couple articles on Golficity about it. Couldn't putt. He's having a lot of trouble transitioning, as he did when he transitioned to Nike. He's having a lot of trouble transitioning over with the TaylorMade putter. He's the spider putter that everyone, is using and loving, Jason Day and, Dustin Johnson. It's not working for him. So it's not something that just will work for everybody. And, interestingly enough, I know TaylorMade had made a switch for him halfway through it, but still, he still struggled.
Yeah. It's incredible. And as you mentioned that drive, I'm thinking about that. And I would actually play very poorly if I had 86 left on my approach shot, believe it or not. So it makes me think, Frank, what I might be better off. Maybe you think I would play better if I played from the tips.
Well, you want to leave yourself longer shots in?
If I'm deadly with my 9 and 8 iron and I'm chunking that 86 yarder all the time, or you know where I'm getting at here?
Yeah, I know exactly where you're getting at.
I think it's a really good test for you and I to go out to a long course, play the tips. I want these 460 yard par 4s. I'm talking the real tips. We'll go to Bethpage or something.
We got to have fun with that either way. And I'm sure that's got to be a future vlog episode where we play the tips from somewhere, because that's awesome. But I would say, if nothing else, you've identified a hole in your game. You gotta get to the range and work on, you gotta get to a grass range, you know, because those mats, you're not gonna be able to simulate that with the bounce and stuff.
Right.
And just work on that 87, something like that yards in, because anytime you can come in closer, you should be able to put it closer to the pin. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, really, really cool. I mean, that was just, it psyched me up. I was on the edge of my seat, you know, watching that final. And that's what golf's all about. That's why we talked about just last episode about how golf is really growing again. And that's a big part of it. Couple of things I want to get into really quick before we jump into the topic, the main topic with the 3 club challenge. One thing I've been trying, you know, because as I said, I have very limited time that I can practice because I'm so busy with work and stuff like that. So I'm trying to work it in where I can. One big help for me has been, you know, the Tathata Golf. We talked a couple episodes ago. If you guys get a chance to catch that interview, catch it because it's really great, really inspiring. We talked with the founder of Tathata Golf, Brian Hepler. And it's really cool 60-day training program. I've been working my way through it. I know, Chris McEwen, who's one of our writers on Golficity, he's been doing a really great series where he's doing each chapter. It's 10 days per chapter. He's been giving us updates on his progress. Just a totally different approach to it, to training. And I just really like it. Dive deep in that mental game. And really cool too. We worked it out with them where they're, you know, Brian and them were great enough to give back to our listeners. Like I said, we always try to push to get you guys stuff back. So they give $10 off. If anybody does want to try it, just go to tathatagolf.com/golficity. If you use that link, they'll give you $10 off just for being a fan of the show. So that was really cool. The other thing that I want to mention is one of like the highlights, kind of surprise thing that's come up from this podcast has been this Facebook group, which you and I just kind of started because we had a lot of people, you know, wanting to talk and like comment back, and we were getting a lot of emails, and we thought like this might be a good way for everyone to engage. So we kicked off this thing, and it's just kind of like on its own accord, aside from any influence that me and you have had, the group has been so awesome. I just want to like quickly say thank you to everybody for making this group what it is. Like culturally, it's such a supportive, cool group. Everybody's sharing like some great stuff, great experiences. A lot of people, their first time out there playing in a tournament, stuff like that. But just to see like you guys, like really just the culture that you've created there. My hat off to our listeners. I mean, one that really stood out for me, we had a post, by, Andrew Woodham, who's one of our listeners. And he had mentioned that, which in and of itself is one of the coolest things. He got accepted into this program called the Salute Military Golf Association, and he gets some lessons and he was running through his bag, but which is unbelievable. In 2 years, Andrew took his handicap from a 10 handicap to a 3.2, which is seriously impressive. Yeah. I mean, there is a certain degree of where the scale gets harder and harder. You know, I feel like from going from a 20 to a 19, it to me seems like a lot easier than going from a 4 to a 3. You know what I mean? So just getting into that zone is unbelievable. But one thing that Andrew said, which like just kind of like made my day, he commented, he said, I'm in another golf group that I posted this in, and I have to say how much I appreciate this group because all they want to talk about in the other group is how my bag is set up wrong. So thank you guys for the support, because so many people jumped in there just thanking him for his service and talking about like how cool it was, the progress he's made. So again, my, applause to you guys that how great you've made that group. And it's really cool just to see everybody kind of giving back and talking and stuff like that. So that's really excellent.
Yeah, that's my feel good page. I love getting the notifications. And, like you said before, I mean, we had, I think it was Eddie D. He's an avid poster in there. He had his first tournament, and everybody, including myself, was giving him some, words of advice, like I love seeing that. And people are sharing their hole-in-one pictures. And, it's just a cool spot for all of us to kind of talk and, bring together, especially this virtual open that we have coming.
Yeah. And I loved it too, how you put out a little challenge to them to get it to over 500 members by the end of the weekend. And everybody was like tagging their friends and stuff like that.
It's
and
awesome.
We did it. We blew by that 500 number. So really cool. Again, that's where I just want to thank you guys. And that's why when you do hear that we have sponsors on the show and stuff like that, look, I know sometimes it might be annoying to hear commercials and stuff like that, but understand these guys who are our sponsors, we look for people that are going to give stuff back to our listeners. We want people who are involved, who are engaged, and we want to find stuff that you guys are actually really going to like. And that's where we get like these guys like Atlas Premier, and like every single week we're giving away stuff in the group. So really cool stuff. And, I just want to, highlight that before we jumped into some other stuff. Let's see. The other thing here I have in my notes. Okay. The big one, the Golficity Virtual Open. So let's just take a second to talk about this before we jump into the 3-club challenge. So again, if you're new to the show, this is your first time you're listening. It's been a very long time that we've had a lot of our listeners saying, let's put something together. Let's put some sort of tournament together. Let's all find a way that we can play. And the hard part is our listeners are spread out over the entire globe. So local tournaments, I feel like you could try to do them in different places, but no matter what, somebody's gonna be left out. So a couple weeks ago, we were down at that 18 Birdies event, which was awesome. You can listen to that episode, and then we have it on the vlog as well on YouTube. But my ears were like kind of like perking up as soon as they talked about this ability to run a virtual open. I'm like, wait, guys, give me all the specifics about this, because I want to know, is there a limit to number of players, a limited number of courses? I don't want anything limiting this. We got to get people in here. And they're like, no, we can do this. And we had a couple meetings with them, and they helped us set up the tournament. So anyway, long story short, go to golficity.com/open. That page is going to take you all the information you need to know to get involved. And it's so simple, and it's going to be fun. You can play a round. What it is, it's between July 15th and August 15th. That's when the tournament runs. It's going to be a 1-round tournament. We gave you a nice full month, so you can find a way to get a round in that month. You're going to play your round. You're going to post your score on the 18 Birdies app, which again, if you go to golficity.com/open, that's going to take you all the information, download links. It's a free app. This is not going to cost you guys a penny. Okay. You play your round, post your round, and then we're going to have a leaderboard, and we are rounding up everybody we know as far as sponsors. We're kicking in as much as we can, and we're going to try to give prizes away to as many places as we can. We've got Atlas Premier, Arcos Golf. We've got Bridgestone. We've got rangefinders by Tech, Lambkin grips, Champ, you name it. We've got them in there. And here's the really cool part. We're going to play off net scores. Okay. Cause I know there's a huge range of skill levels who listen to the podcast. So this way we're going to level the playing field that way. You're going to enter in, what your handicap is. You're going to play. We're going to use those net scores. That's the way we're going to level that playing field. And so simple to do. Check it out. I mean, Mike, I'm excited for this. We already got a bunch of the guys just mentioning this in the group the other day. I think as of this, we just launched it, I think yesterday. We started teasing it, and we've got already 31 or 32 people in there. My personal goal is to hit at least 200 to 300 people in this virtual tournament.
Yeah, I think we'll see that, especially with our partners who are going to help promote this and make this an awesome event. But like you said, with the group, these guys are stoked, Frank. You got Nate Klein. Hell yeah, I'm in. It's going to be a blast. Dave Cormanick. Yes, sir. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Frank and Mike. So yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, because this is going to be fun. I'm really excited, and it's so easy. It's free. Basically, you get to compete for prizes for just playing the round of golf you're going to play anyway.
Right.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Right. And look, I know you guys are going to say, okay, you could post any score or whatever. Guys, it's golf. We're on our honor every time, day in and day out when we play out there. So it's going to be on your honor, of course. But the cool thing is the app does a really, really great job. Once you register, you're playing your tournament round, you're in there, you're playing it, and it's going to have a real tournament feel. Cause we talk a lot about this, about the benefits of playing in a tournament and how that can help your game. Well, this is a big part of it. This is get that feel and get out there and actually you're playing in a tournament. And the other thing that's been really cool is a lot of guys are in the Facebook group linking up and actually going and playing their round together regionally. So we can get some people playing together. And on top of that, if you haven't used the 18 Birdies app yet, check it out because it's really cool. They actually just today announced they passed 500,000 users in the app. Wow. So they're blowing up. They're growing really fast. But they've got, it's just kind of like social media, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. They've got a feed, and they've created a private feed just for the tournament. So you can engage with people in the tournament. Really cool stuff. We're going to create some other ways that you guys can share some pictures, videos on Instagram and stuff like that. And we can all link up, but this is going to be fun. And if this works out, really well, we're going to do it again and we're going to keep growing it. We're going to get bigger and bigger prizes and sponsors. But this has been a lot of fun setting it up and I can't wait to get out there and do it. We're going to shoot a video for it really soon. Really great stuff, Mike. I'm jazzed. I'm excited, as you can tell, for this.
My goal at some point down the road, this thing gets so big, we can actually give away one of those large paper, cardboard checks.
There you go.
Even if it's like $10,000, hey, whatever. No, but that's great. I'm excited.
Well, yeah. And some of these top prizes are going to be up there. So it's going to be really cool. Keep an eye on it. Again, go to golficity.com/open. We're posting all the information as well in the Facebook group. So if you forget that link, just join the Facebook group. We're going to keep posting it in there. We're going to keep the updates rolling, but it is so easy to do and it's a lot of fun. And we're going to have a lot of bragging rights. I'm sure we'll be talking about some of the winners here on the show. So maybe we'll even bring a couple of them on. Who knows?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Really great stuff. All right, Mike, so much to talk about this 3-club challenge. Let's do a word from our sponsor and then I want to jump right into it.
So you may know the USGA mostly for their 14 annual championships and competitions. Their championships are widely looked upon as the ultimate test in golf, but there's a lot about the USGA that you may not know.
Yeah, Mike, you've heard us mention it before, but I'm seriously impressed by the fact that the USGA's innovation team has just come up with a resource management app that helps course superintendents know how to better allocate their resources and help ensure a better experience for golfers. Plus, the USGA's handicap system helps level the playing field and it makes the game more social.
And along with the RNA in Scotland, the USGA is modernizing the game's rules. They're even asking us for our feedback all the time, and we're invited to share with them anytime online. There's a lot to love about golf, and the greatness of the game brings out the best in all of us. So discover more at usga.org.
Okay, so the 3-club challenge. Let's talk a little bit about the background about this. Then we're going to talk about the logistics, and then we're going to challenge you guys to do the same. So,
yes.
First thing is, this is something that's been I've heard it floating around the internet a little bit before. We maybe even have talked about it in the show as a practice method. But it also goes back to, there's a little bit of history with it from back in my high school playing days. But the way the challenge is structured is very, very simple. It's 3 clubs. You get to pick the club. So there's a little bit of strategy involved as well. There's skill in their strategy. You get to pick the clubs, but it's only 3 clubs. Any 3 clubs in your bag, only 3 clubs. And you have to use those to play 9 holes. If you're brave, play all 18. But play 9 holes and see what you can do, see what you can learn. Okay? Now, that includes, putter is included as a club. So if you choose to put that putter in your bag, strategically, it might be a smart play, which I'll talk about why in a minute, because we struggled around the greens, or at least I did. Mr. Pressure putt sinker Mike over there doesn't struggle ever. But anyway, we both left the putter out of our bag. We'll go through what we used in a second, but really cool. And it's a way to learn a lot of things about your game. It's a way to learn strategy. It's a way to learn control. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, we played our round at a course that I used to play a lot back in my high school days. And it was actually really funny. I reached out to he reached out to me. I had heard from one of my, old high school buddies who I haven't talked to probably since our reunion. I don't know, 5 years ago or something like that. He lives in Hawaii. So he's a long way away. We don't really get together much anymore, but we were just talking. I mentioned the 3-club challenge because I remember that this is where we used to play, constantly. And he was like, Frank, that reminds me the other thing that our old golf coach used to do. And I kind of forgot about this. Our old golf coach used to once a year, every year, he would take all of us out there and he would play with just 1 club. He would play with a 7-iron and he would challenge us to beat him. And he would almost always win, because he would just show how it's not about the club. It's about the execution, the strategy, staying within yourself. So that was so cool. And actually just the other day, I went out the other night, because I'm lucky enough that I live right by a golf course. It's a course that I play all the time that I can just walk on, and it's summer, best time of the year. It's bright out till 9:00. So my father and I just walked out there really quick to get 3 holes in before it got dark, like around 8:00. And he was doing the same thing. He was playing with just his 7-iron, and he couldn't believe how much he was learning. Like, oh man, look how well I'm playing even these par 5s with just my 7-iron. And I don't need to do, the stuff I'm doing, trying to crush the ball and whatever. So really cool. So let's do this, Mike. Talk about it. Run through your very small bag here.
Yeah,
what
sure.
3 clubs did you use?
So I went with, the clubs itself are probably irrelevant. I'll say what they were: the 3 hybrid, the 9-iron, and the 56-degree wedge. But more importantly, I took my 220 club, my 150 club, and my 100, which could be muscled to a 110. And my thinking behind it was, okay, most par 4s, especially on a municipal course, are going to be about 320 to 350 or 360, 370 in that range at the most. So my thought there was to just simply get off the tee 200, 220 yards and have anywhere from 100 or 150 in, right? So I had those two clubs. Then getting on the green, I was just going to use the hybrid because it was the flattest stick of them all with the least loft, and putt with that. Pretty simple strategy, right?
Yeah. Seems simple enough. And then you played the first hole with 1 club.
Yeah, I actually played the first 5 shots of the day with the 3 hybrid. And I gotta just, before I talk about that, this is tough, Frank. This was hard because it was a Friday. I took the day off from work. I was excited. It was a beautiful weather. We're up at a nice golf course I never played before, and I have to now play it with 3 clubs. Yeah. I wanted to just tee off with my driver on the first hole and just
that's
do
a drivable green too. So you
drivable green. Yeah. And that plays to my, left to right, fade. That was perfect. I was on the green and one with my driver on that one. We're actually playing there Friday full bag, right? This week?
Unless my wife goes into labor between now and then, because she's due in about 3 days, we're playing.
Tell her to just keep it calm for a few days.
No spicy food. I get it.
Yeah, just stay calm because I got to get this round in. Okay, selfish me here, but anyway. So that was my thinking. It was hard to do, and another thing, real quick, I want to squash this. Don't look at this like as a waste of money. We paid for a 9-hole round of golf. It was $20 each, right, Frank? It was $20 each. It was 9 holes, municipal course. Yeah. And it was the best $20 we ever spent.
Yeah. There right there is our pro tip. When we challenge you guys to do this, don't do this at the course you've been itching to play, the expensive course, whatever it may be. Find a local municipal course, something like that, and do it there. It was cheap. We booked an early morning tee time. That's with the cart. It was $25 each. Right. And I learned a lot more than I would for $25 spent anywhere else. But yeah, that's half the challenge. And I know me and you, we were texting the couple of days before. We're like, what are we doing? What clubs are you using? Like, 'cause there's a lot of strategy to it. Thinking it out. And, I don't play hybrids. I don't have any hybrids in my bag. I'm not a huge on the 3 or 5 wood. I'm actually thinking about taking the 5 wood out of my bag because I hit it maybe once every 3 rounds. I'm as I've said before, I love my 3-iron, 4-iron, stuff like that. So I'm trying to think, what am I going to use? I got to have something that's long enough off the tee that I have in case there's some carries and for par 5s. So I ended up going with 4-iron, 7-iron, 52. Because I love using that 52 for even for chipping around the green.
So what are your yardages there?
So my 4-iron is my 200 to 205 club. My 7-iron is my 165 club. Mm-hmm. All right. Which is, again, I thought those complemented each other because I don't have as much off the tee. So I need a little bit more. My most confident club in my bag is my 8-iron. I have so much confidence in that. I want to get my whole bag to be like this, but I don't even think about it when I swing it, and I just can put it where I want to put it 99% of the time. But I thought, as confident as I am, I'm going to go to the 7 because I'm thinking I'm not going to be having those 150 shots in if I'm using a 4-iron off the tee. So I backed it down to, I upped it to the 7, and then the 52, that's my 105 club, 100 club. But I've had a lot of practice with that club because that is I have a 60 and I have a 52. And there's a lot of variation where I get stuck with that. That 60, I hit about 70 yards. So from 70 to about 110, I've had to hit many different variations and less than full swings with this club, and I'm used to it. So I thought this will be like a utility, like I can use it for a lot of different things. So get out there, first hole. It was perfect, nice short. I put my 4-iron in the middle of the fairway. Mm-hmm. I'm about 85 yards out, good shape. You hit your hybrid, push it off to the right, and there's that tree line there. So you have to punch out.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know how you accomplish this. Guy punches out with this what was it, 4 hybrid?
3 hybrid.
3 hybrid, punches out from the trees with it, puts it 10 feet from the pin.
Yeah.
Right. So then I hit and I put it to the back of the green. So now I'm in worse shape than you. We were just switching off. First I was good shape. You were bad shape. Then we switched off. Anyway, you 2-putt put it in. And then you got to watch the video too. You can see a little bit more about how much I struggled putting with this 4-iron. That was the only thing that really wasn't well thought out because, you see these guys on like tour or whatever, if their putter breaks and they break out one of the woods and putt with that, you definitely want to go with your least lofted club. There was too much loft on that 4-iron. I'm trying to blade it to get it rolling and putting, but each time, like just using my normal putting stroke, the ball would jump up in the air with that little bit of loft and it was very hard to control. So I was putting like a nightmare. But anyway, we were pretty impressed. Like you come off the first hole par and I think I had a bogey, something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Wasn't bad. So we're like, okay, maybe we can do this. And then we get to that par 5.
Par 5.
Like, I don't know if we have enough club to reach the fairway. Right. And that got messy. I double bogeyed that. I got in the sand trap, the green side, bunker. And I don't ever hit that 52 out of the bunker. And like, that's where it started to get like, you really had to adapt quick.
Yeah, the challenge began then.
The challenge really began. But then we really ate up that par 3 after that.
Well, I think we got into a nice groove. We both hit that green, I think, and we made par. We had some good approaches there. We made par. That was fine. I think the next hole after that was when things started to get a little shaky because we had that long 4. I believe it was a longer 4. It wasn't really that short, but the big thing was there was water. There was water in front of the green. There was water on the side. There was water behind it. It was like a peninsula type green sort of, but that's where you can get into trouble when you don't have the right clubs, right?
Yeah.
So, I know I ended up I put a really good drive with my hybrid. I was hitting that hybrid so nice off the tee. My tempo was so great that day. And I just hit the approach shot. I like hooked it into the tree line and I was forced to scramble and putting was a nightmare. I think I triple bogeyed that hole. And then you had a little challenging shot coming up.
I did. And that's where the other thing too is I think the challenge of it is something that would be expected, right? People can be like, okay, yeah, you're so limited, you're going to be challenged. But what I really wanted to talk about is the other side of it, the fact of how much we were learning, because you start to think of the game. And again, I want you guys to get out there and try this as well, because it really takes doing it to really feel it. When you're physically limited, you really start to learn the game and learn how much can be done thinking outside the box. So for instance, I love that it made us think. Like on the video, they show us with that long par 4 that you're talking about with the downhill dip. It shows us talking about it on the tee box, and we're running through the yardages and looking at like some strategy, and we're saying, well, we could both probably hit, our your hybrid, my 4-iron, hit it twice to get to the green. Whereas normally I feel like you kind of almost mentally check out. You just par 4, you just step up to it. The first thing you do is pull the driver out and walk up to the tee. You don't actually think it out in strategy. Just us taking that extra minute or two, or we're just applying some strategy to it, like, all right, Mike, what's the smart play here? What do we do here? And then even getting those in between yardages. I learned a lot about my 7-iron that way. I learned about a lot of different trajectories, because sometimes I'd have to hit a lower trajectory, or I'd have to try to hit it higher like I would with a wedge, take something off of it, use it for a long bump and run, like forcing myself to like get out of these things where you like naturally sometimes atrophy. You forget how to play certain shots because you're not faced with them. And even through the green, the putting, like I know how crazy this sounds, and I was having trouble putting with that 4-iron, but just by doing that, I learned a lot about my chipping stroke, about how my chipping stroke can be so much more like a putting stroke, because trying to putt with this 4-iron, I realized, that little bit of loft where it pops up and then gets rolling is a lot like a long chip. So I'm like really learning. And then we decompress a lot of that in the vlog episode, which, like I said, you can see on YouTube, but we'll also post it in the Facebook group. But we're starting to see like this can be a real game of control. The other thing too that I learned was how much you take out of play, getting yourself in trouble, for lack of a better word, when you have less of a club to hit off the tee. So
Right.
for instance, although I may hit, or like my father was playing the other day with me, and he's hitting on a par 5, he's hitting a 7-iron off the tee. I mean, it's crazy. But then he realizes par 5, he's like 7-iron, 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 he's on the green.
Right.
You know, putting for birdie. So the reality is you can get yourself in a lot less trouble. Yes, sure, that drive is going to be the setup play to really start scoring when you can hit it. But with the dispersion on a much longer play like that, you have a lot more right and left that you could get in a lot of trouble. Whereas with the shorter clubs, you can't. So am I saying to get rid of your driver and play 7-iron all the time? No. But what I am saying is start thinking strategy more. We talked about course management. If you start to see that the course is set up so it gets really narrow where your driver would normally hit, where you would normally hit your driver, don't always think about having to make your absolute best shot. Think about those numbers. Think about your risk reward and start to say, well, okay, what I learned is I don't have to back it all the way down to a 7-iron, but maybe I back this particular tee shot down to a 3-iron or 4-iron so that my dispersion takes out that much more of the margins of error on each side of the thing. You know, there's so much that you can learn from it. And that's why it's more than just a challenge. Really, it's a training and learning experience, if anything.
Yeah. So speaking of learning from this, I mean, we played a live leaderboard on the 18 Birdies app. So looking at the stats, I hit 4 greens in regulation. Now I had 3 clubs with me and I hit almost 50% of the greens that day.
Yeah.
I don't normally see that GIR on a full round with a full bag of clubs. I don't. You don't see me hitting nine greens on a day.
Right.
You know? So it goes to show you that, you know, control. I mean, when I'm playing with the clubs that I think I'm supposed to be using, I do end up swinging a little bit harder. I will agree that I do that, and my accuracy is not as good. This shows me that I was more accurate because I was controlling my shots. Hole 5 was that dog leg right with the little uphill.
Yeah,
I remember the gun shot like with the incline like 138. And I had my 150 club with me or my 110. So obviously I was going to use the 9 and just take a little bit off it. I had a nice, smooth tempo, controlled 9-iron, and I landed it right on the green. Yep. I put it right where I should put it. I mean, it goes to show you. I mean, that was huge right there for me.
It really is. And that's the thing. And we were talking about it as we were out there, but like, it's amazing how much more controlled I'm swinging. And because we're also, you take yourself out of that. Almost sometimes you feel like you're sleepwalking out there. You know, you do the same thing. It's like, this is the yardage, this is what I hit, you know, and you just swing the same way. But here it's like, well, hold on. I got to think because this is not the club I hit this yardage. So I really got to think about how much I'm putting on this ball. Am I, you know, swinging a little bit less, swinging a little bit harder, whatever it may be. So you just learn so much about the game in that way. And it just ends up being, you know, really smart. And plus you'll feel a lot better about, like I said, breaking free of it when you back to all 14 clubs. I think the only struggle I had when I went back to 14 clubs, it did take me a round to get back in the groove with putting.
Agreed.
Because it did screw me up a little bit putting with that. I don't know. I feel like if I was going to do the 3 club challenge again, I'd almost cheat and make it a 4 club and just keep the putter because I wasn't learning a whole lot around the greens trying to putt with my 4-iron. Like I said, I did learn a little bit about my chipping stroke. In that way, it was just more kind of the fun quirkiness of the challenge. So in that way, maybe it's best to keep it pure as a 3 club challenge. But otherwise, you know, that was the one area where I struggled a little bit getting back into my regular game, my regular putting stroke. But beyond that, it was all learning. Every bit of it was worthwhile of the experience.
Yeah, I agree. And I got to ask you this. If you could do it again, would you choose the same 3 clubs? Because the answer for me would be no.
What would be your 3 clubs?
Well, pretty much based on what you said about your old man. I mean, I love the idea of 7-iron, 56-degree wedge, and a putter.
Yeah.
Because
if you're really playing for score, I think you have to have that putter because that's where me and you left the most strokes. For as limiting as it sounds, we were really moving our way around the course fine. We left a lot of strokes on and around the green.
Big time. And you know what? I think a lot of this is about the score because, I mean, we're trying to prove to ourselves that you don't need all the clubs maybe.
It's true.
I mean,
that's true.
You know, so maybe I want to go out there and fire that 38 on 9 holes and be like, you know, holy crap, this is the best I've ever shot. And I only had my putter, a wedge, and a 7-iron.
Yeah.
We had basically like the kids beginner set with us. That's what it is.
Right. But you know what? I'll tell you one thing. It would definitely be contingent upon the course though, because you couldn't go with that setup. And that's where smart strategy comes into play. And that's where you can start thinking about that for each course. But we could not go with that setup if we played Mansion Ridge again. Because remember the 200 plus yard carries off of of all marshland carries. You could hit your 7-iron all day. You're not carrying that 200 yard thing. You're just not going to get to the other side.
Right. Exactly.
So that's where it comes a little bit of strategy. But I think even that teaches you something about the game. Even the pros on the PGA Tour will change the clubs in their bag and their setup based on that track. They may take playing a shorter track that requires more control, take one of the woods out, throw another gap wedge in, or vice versa. Yep. So,
oh man, I'm just thinking about that. I would easily blow my back out to try to muscle a 7-iron 200 yards.
I know.
I could probably get one if I hit 5, but
like
it would
a
hurt.
real punch, but it couldn't even be a punch and run because it's marshland.
No, I would put everything into it. I would just put my full body. These guys on tour can do it. I could do it. I just have to connect.
This guy would be out for the rest of the season for that.
I would.
That was a 3-club challenge. Mike's out for the rest of the season, so let's start over.
Exactly.
But yeah, I look, at the end of the day, like I said, we learned a ton from it, had a blast. You'll see how much fun it was. It's a fun little challenge. And here's the thing that was so crazy about it. Although it was an easier track that we played. And drum roll, because we didn't announce it on the actual.
Are you going to announce it here?
Why not? Right?
Oh, all right,
actually,
go ahead.
We did announce it in the vlog episode, but that doesn't drop until the same day as this. But we teased it on Instagram. We were doing a little bit of a story while we were out there, and we didn't say who won. But here it is, a little drum roll. Mike got me by a stroke, but I was impressed that we both came in pretty well. You were 7 over through 9 holes?
I
think you were 7 and I was 8.
Or was it 8? You're right.
I think, yeah. Or was it that, or it was you were?
No, I was 8. I was 8. You were 9.
I was
40.
9. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, come on.
That's my normal day on the course for me.
Right. Now, I'll give you, it's an easier track. We're going to go back out there and play it with 14 clubs. And if we don't beat that score, we know we're doing something wrong. Right. But it does show you like this game can be played different ways. And again, it reminds me back to those days when I played in high school, and it was so frustrating because then I really didn't get the game. I was learning it. I really didn't get it. And I would swing out of my shoes all the time. To me, it was like just driving the ball a mile was like my ultimate goal. And I remember there was this one, I don't remember what school it was, this one school we play, and they bring this one kid. He was like younger than all of us. I don't even know if he was in high school. He might have been in like junior high and playing up a level, but he didn't hit that ball more than 150 yards on his biggest swing, but he never, it was the most dead straight I've ever seen someone hit a ball. He would just go 150, then he'd be on the green and putting for par every time. And I'm chasing my ball around the course like a dog without a bone, you know? And I'm just getting frustrated because I'm like, sure, I'm blowing it by him by another 150 or plus yards on every drive. But it was like the rabbit, the tortoise and the hare. Like, I think I'm way ahead, but here he comes, and he just keep beating me. And it was so frustrating, but back then I was too young, I guess, to learn the lesson from it. And now I try to learn that lesson about how much this control in this game is important. And if nothing else, I'm out there now. I'm playing with the full bag. I'm not giving up yardage in that I'm hitting the driver off the tee, but I'm realizing swing it 80%. Like we talked about before, swing it, 90%. Don't have to swing out of your shoes, because if I'm telling you can score with a 7-iron off the tee, then you sure as heck can score by just taking a little bit off your driver.
Right.
It just proves you don't need that extra 10 yards every single time. It's not worth the dispersion every time. Stick with the clubs, but stick with it in control, and you're going to go a long way. That's what I learned. But everybody's going to have a different experience. Everybody's going to learn something different. And I want to hear what you guys learn. So take the challenge, get out there. We got a lot more time left in the summer. It doesn't have to be this week. When you get a chance, go out, take the 3-club challenge, keep it pure for now. See if you struggle with putting like we did. Pick 3 clubs. Like we talked about, play a municipal course, so that way you're not spending too much to do it, and post it in the Facebook group. Let us know what clubs you chose and how you did and what you learned. And I want to hear, because I think there's going to be a lot of different things. The other thing you could do, post it on Instagram. use the hashtag. We got a hashtag going for it. We're going to do hashtag Golficity 3 Club Challenge. That's with the number 3. We'll try to keep it so it's not too long of a hashtag, but hashtag Golficity 3 Club Challenge. Take the 3 Club Challenge and tell us. I really want to hear what you guys learn from it. And you know what we'll do on the next episode, and to give you guys more time, just throughout different episodes, we'll hit some highlights of some of what you guys report back. We'll talk about it here because I think it was a great thing, and I may jump back and do it again at some point. Maybe next season, try it again, start off the season. It's a good way to start. It's a good practice to start off the season because it forces you to be in control right off the bat, you know?
Yeah, we should make a point to do this at least once a year, and I love kicking off the season. I think we should take the 3 Club Challenge at Bethpage Black, this fall.
Dude, I don't know.
You wait driver,
3 hours
hybrid.
To get on
I'm going to take hybrid, 3-wood, and driver.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just the top 3 clubs in the back. Let me tell you something. Bethpage, if you're going to sleep in the parking lot and wait 4 hours just to get a tee time, I don't think you're bringing just those clubs.
Yeah, for sure.
You're playing that whole bag.
Mm-hmm.
But it really, it would be interesting to do it long courses versus short courses, stuff like that. But you'll learn a lot. And even if you can't get to do this, a small variation on it, even if you can get out like I did at Twilight, play 3 or 4 holes, walk them if you got a course that you can just kind of get on and do that. Play with just a 7-iron, knock it around. Just walk out there with your 7-iron, just see what you learn from playing it that way, because you will learn a lot. Mike, before we wrap it up, once again, I want to thank this week's sponsor, the USGA. You may know the USGA mostly for its championships, but did you know the USGA is working to modernize golf's rules by making them easier to understand and apply, and that they're working with golf facilities to help reduce their dependency on critical resources, including reliance on water, or that the USGA's handicap system is used in more than 40 countries around the world? There's a lot to love about golf, and the greatness of the game brings out the best in all of us. Discover more at usga.org. Okay, Mike, I'm really excited to see what people come back with. Let us know about your 3 club challenges.
Yes.
And check that out, the Golficity Virtual Open, golficity.com/open. We're going to post it. We actually have it posted and pinned in the Facebook group. You can jump in. It's very easy and 100% free to do. And we're going to be playing, like I said, for some great prizes, some really awesome bragging rights. And this is going to be a fun experience. And it's a once of a kind type of thing. We're trying to blaze some new territory here by having a virtual tournament where you're competing against everybody else, but we don't all have to be on the same track. So it's going to be really cool. It's going to be really fun. Mike, you and I are going to get out there and do it. We're going to obviously recuse ourselves from the prizes, but we're going to get in there and post around just to be on that leaderboard. And that'll be a lot of fun to do.
Bragging. You and I are playing for bragging rights since we can't win any of the prizes. All right.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Which I think it might be a little bit more nerve wracking than playing.
Yeah.
Because we've got, let's see, 1 episode a week. So 52 episodes that one of us gets to tell the other one we beat them in the open.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm.
So that is something. But all right. So check that out. As always, you can get to the show notes by going to golficity.com/episode 174. That is everything we have for you guys, and we will catch up with you all again next week.